Today it's a tale of two Spätlese. A lot of confusion in German wine, huh? It's effing confusing. Outside of like Zeller Schwarzekatz and Liebfrau Milk and Peace Porter, whatever, it's a really confusing genre of wine. I think Germans are totally content with it being confusing. To them in their little structured world, I'm sure it works out just fine, but I'm sure even half the Germans are like, what the hell? Because there's a lot to digest here. But in the end, our goal is to simplify fine wine for you. So you're like, that sounds very simple and delicious. I would like to buy some. And then you buy from us and you learn. So it's amazing. So we're going to try and do that right now. So we have a great opportunity with this, right? Because we have two wines from Maximum Ferdinand Richter. Richter, we just call him MF Richter. MF Richter, not Richter, but yeah, there's names. But the Richter family is killing it right now, making some of the greatest Rieslings in Germany. And their prices are so friendly. Thank you. Thank you, Richter family. So we can tell the story, and you'll actually be like, yeah, I can do that. I can have that experience. And you are going to have that experience. If you don't, I'll have to punch Tristan in the arm really hard. But I'd probably break my arm on his steel biceps. Moving on, these are the Mosel. The Mosel is a twisty-turny river valley with these incredible vineyards, 80-degree slopes, straight down into the river, like this. And the wines that are produced from these slopes are some of the greatest white wines on the planet. Now, traditionally, these wines have always had a little bit of residual sugar in them because it's been too cold to fully ripen the Riesling grapes to get them to a point of full flavor. Germany's trying to change that. The Mosel's trying to change that by making more dry wines. It's working a little bit, but we're not going to cloud that issue. We're going to jump straight into the fruity wines because we think this is where the action's at. These lightly fruity styles of Riesling that go oh so well with all sorts of cuisines, not just spicy food, not just Mexican food, not just Asian food. Have it with charcuterie, sausages, potatoes, friggin' Thanksgiving, bomb. It's all fire. Now, both of these are a Spätlese level Riesling, which means they were picked at a certain level of ripeness. This isn't the amount of residual sugar left over, just to avoid a little confusion, but this is the ripeness that the grapes were picked at, okay? Now, traditionally, the grapes picked at this ripeness level would create this style of fruity Riesling with, call it 30 grams or 3% of residual sugar, maybe 4% residual sugar in here. But the acids are so high and the wines are so humming that you don't perceive that sweetness, other than this like, nom, 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 this ripe, this mandarin orange, I want more level of sweetness because they're so tangy and minerally and spicy. We got that out of the way. Let's talk about the vineyards. So both these wines are made the exact same way. Both 2023 vintage, great year for the Richter family, and they come from two indisputable Grand Cru-level sites in the Mosel Valley. But there's some confusion again. Now we're going to jump into that. The first wine is coming from, we'll do this one first. The first one's going to be the Richter Brauneberger Juffer Sonnenuhr Riesling Spätlese. The Brauneberger Juffer Sonnenuhr Riesling Spätlese. This wine is 100% Riesling, as usual. That comes from the Juffer Sonnenuhr site in the town of Brauneberg. It is a great site. Pure south exposure, delivers ethereal Rieslings of the highest order with some power to them. Old vines here. There's a lot of old vines in the Mosel. Surprisingly enough, these vines thrive perfectly in these steep hillsides, in these slate soils. They just do their thing every year. They're really happy. So we get a lot of old vine Riesling material adding to the concentration here. All hand harvested in these incredibly steep slopes on this fractured slate soil. Borderline dangerous work. This is heroic viticulture. I could just drink that wine every day of my life. Tropical fruit, purple flowers, zippy acidity, incredible racy mid-palate. The acid is a race car. juicy, just packed, exploding. I love Riesling so much. Good God. Why don't you marry it? Okay, I will. A little Pee Wee Herman out there for everybody. Thank me later. Let's go to the Velener Sonnenuhr. Hey, wait, Sonnenuhr. Isn't that the same vineyard? No, silly. The Germans are just making it confusing for us dumb Americans. Sonnenuhr refers to the sundial in the vineyard. The top vineyards with the best exposure, a lot of them had old ancient sundials in it. So the folks, the harvest workers and everyone out working the vineyards at the time could actually tell what time it was. Coincidentally, a lot of the best parcels in these vineyards find themselves surrounding the sundial. There's actually a vineyard called Brauneberger Juffer without the Sonnenuhr on it. It's the rest of the Juffer, but the Sonnenuhr part is the tenderloin, the part closest to the sundial. Same thing here. The Wehlener Sonnenuhr, sundial, middle of the vineyard, and the choicest parcels are usually right around the sundial. And wouldn't you know it, Richter owns parcels in both plots. Smart cookies. And heroic cookies. These vineyards are a bitch to farm, to harvest, and to produce from. These wines are a complete labor of love at the highest order. Now, Velen, the town, is just around the corner from Brauneberger. They're very close by. It's a 5-minute boat ride, you know, if you're on the because you're on the Mosel. And but the wines are quite different. This is a south-southwest exposure here. And here you get more florals, more blue slate in the Velen. And the blue slate gives a wine of, at first, ease, right? The Brauneberger wine tends to deliver more citrus, more zip, more zowie, right? And it's immediately perceived in the palate. The Velen wines tend to sneak past you with their purple fruit characters, their florals, and then, they broaden on the mid palate, but then reshape and focus themselves on the finish. So this wine front to back's like a race car, and this one gets a touch more Baroque in the mid palate, and then, bam, tightens right up. Good gravy. It is so fun drinking these wines next to each other. I almost want to put them together, but no, I'm not going to do that. Friggin' Richters will leave burning poo on my doorstep, so I can't do that. What I can do is continue drinking these in front of you. Oh, by the way, because there's a little bit of residual sugar in these, alcohol levels, 7.5%. 7.5%. You could drink a bottle of this. Easy. It's no problem. Had some Thai food last night, man. This with that beef larb. Oof. I'll make the phone call right now. This is a must. You guys have to do this, right? These wines sell for around $30 a bottle. Incredible value considering the work effort that goes into producing these wines. It really is crazy. Look up Mosel, look up Wehlener Sonnenuhr. You're going to look at the vineyard and go, holy crap. And I'm going to be like, why don't you go in there and pick them and do all the vineyard work? And you're going to be like, no effing way. Simple as that. 30 bucks a bottle. Huge scores, 95 points at least on each of them. 95, 96, look it up. It's on the offer. Regardless, this is a must-do, like the Peak Ranch Chardonnays we did the other day. We got to have the two vineyards next to each other. It's the same price, it's the same mojo. It's so fun and so nerdy and so whiny. So I heavily encourage you to buy a few bottles of each. Both are just compelling and of equal quality. What fun this is. So click, buy these wines. There's only about 10 cases of each available. They don't make a ton of these. Like us. I know you like us. Right? I like me. And subscribe. Subscribe. Let's get to 11,000. Let's get to 12,000. Let's break the top 50. I know we can do it, Patrick. We have the power.